So people are mixed about Elden Ring. Only 61% are positive? That's crazy.
You either die a gamer or live long enough to see yourself become a journalist.
Elden Ring Shadow of Erdtree's Steam reviews sitting on mix because many players think the DLC is too hard.
I think that the DLC is too hard for it to be fun.
There is this ever-present thing about this DLC that it is, quote, too hard. And what I will say to that is that this is a large game that is more akin to toys in a sandbox than previous traditional Souls-like games, which were linear. In this game, if you pick one build and you go from point A to point B to point C to point D, and you get to a boss, and then you die for 4 hours against that boss, and then you stop and go, this game is too difficult. You're not wrong. If that's how you play the game, yes, that is brutally difficult. That is hard. That is punishing. And you are setting yourself up for a tough time. However, what people don't tend to really be talking about is that is not how you have to play this game. You could play a caster and have a far easier time. You could play a super vigor-based shield user and be super much more prepared for boss fights. You could go around the map and collect every single one of the new progression mechanics to give you more damage against bosses and them dealing less damage against you. And you could probably get 5 levels of that before you fight your first boss if you wanted to do that. You can use summons. There's an entire summon progression line. So the thing that drives me crazy when I hear people say this game is too hard is when you look into more of those comments, you find out that that person did one thing, that one thing didn't work, and they went, the whole game is too hard. And what I say to that is, if that was too hard for you, there's like 10 different ways to play the game. They've meticulously designed them so you don't have to throw yourself at bosses. Do a little bit of extra work and like just go do some side stuff. The game is designed so you don't have to throw yourself at bosses for 4 hours if you don't want to. You don't have to do that. There's tons of content. It's much easier.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this game a lot more now. Someone said, am I enjoying my playthrough this time around? And this is why I'm enjoying the game a lot more. This time, I'm treating it more like an RPG. Where I'm kind of like getting stronger, getting new items, upgrading. Like more of that traditional feeling of an RPG. And it's so much more fun. It's so much more fun. Running at bosses was probably the most miserable experience I had. It was terrible.
So that's the only part of this, the game is too hard discussion that is kind of driving me crazy, is because I'm finding more and more when people say this game is too hard, if you go, okay, the game was too hard for you, what happened? They tell you, oh, I tried a build and I got to a boss and then I couldn't beat him for 4 hours and I gave up. And you just want to go, brother, you just played a racing game. And the first thing you did in that racing game is turn your car into the wall, and then you complained there were too many obstacles on the track. That's what you did. You set yourself up for a really tough time. You literally built your difficulty super hard, and then went, this is super hard. Crazy how that works, huh? That's wild. And again, I'm not telling people to play the game the way I do. Oh God, no! The only point of what I'm saying is, if you're one of the people who felt the game is too hard and put it down or stopped playing it, just please understand the game is so much larger than that. This game is beautiful, and there's so much to explore, and there's so much to do. And if you only take this little tiny fraction of it, and you only look at that part of it and go, man, that sucks, this isn't for me. Dude, you're looking at Mona Lisa's nose and you're going, this painting sucks. Where's the rest of it? It's like, it's all there, just look for it. Use those big, beautiful peepers. Use your eyes, use your brain. Just look around, have fun, explore, be in the world, and you'll get stronger. It's okay, for the record. If you're not having fun with a game, put the game down. That's cool. And like, I would never argue somebody play a game that they don't want to play or they're not having fun playing. But the only thing I would say to them is, you might actually have a lot of fun if you play the game a little differently. You don't have to play the game by throwing yourself at an impossible challenge for hours. There's lots of other ways to play this game. And I would encourage people to explore those, especially if they're reviewing it.
Despite taking breaks to go off and do other things and explore other areas, I realized that I just don't want to do this anymore.
It's very important for players to know that they don't have to throw themselves against bosses for multiple hours. That's not the way you have to play the game. There's other ways to do it. So that's just one of those. I know we kind of segued points with my little discussion here, but it just goes to show you, a review is a different thing than just an opinion. And that's why it's important that when you put an opinion in a review piece, that you make sure people know it's an opinion, and that there may be other things that don't necessarily line up with your opinion that the person should maybe know about to make their own decision. Okay, anyway, I know I haven't gotten to any of the bosses. I know there's bosses that I will die to 20 to 50 times on this character. I know they're going to be difficult. And I know most likely a patch will come along and nerf them. But the difference between me and the people that say the game is too hard is I'm entering the game understanding that. I'm looking for that. So it's like, and even then I'm doing all this side stuff. So managing those expectations is so important, and part of that is understanding that the game is bigger than just boss fights. It's so much, this game has outgrown the Souls-like mantra, the loop of just boss fight, boss fight, boss fight, boss fight. You don't need to do that anymore. And if you don't, you'll have a lot more fun, in my opinion. Yeah. The way I'm playing this game is super enjoyable. I'm taking my time. I'm preparing for boss fights. I'm slowly crawling through the world, getting more levels, getting better gear. Like, this feels like a great progression of power. I'm sure I'm going to get my ass kicked by bosses. I'm sure I am. I'm looking forward to those times because my expectations are managed, and I know this game is going to kick my ass, and I'm ready for it. I'm looking forward to it in a way. But yeah, you know, it's still like knowing all that and having all that information available makes the whole experience so much more enjoyable. It's not like the game is just hard and gamers need to get better. It's not that simple. And I think that's one of the reasons we see so much confusion over this whole thing. So anyway, yeah, that's that.